Well, welcome everyone. It has been a long time since I've last joined you, at least in the live setting here. If you've never joined one of these before, get ready for a lot of mediocrity. My name's Kyle, and this is Alive with a Kyle and a guest. You'll see the guest here in just a second, but today it is January 21st, 2015. The Oscar nominations came out last week, and if you know me at all, which you most likely don't, then you will know that I am a freak when it comes to the Academy Awards. This is kind of like my Super Bowl, the thing I look forward to every single year, even though I very 100% agree that the awards don't matter. They are completely irrelevant to what actually makes good art or what makes good movies, but they're still fun to like quibble about and to debate about and to talk about, which is why I have my Oscar party every year. Fun fact, first telecast that I watched was the year that Titanic won, and the awards ceremony was longer than that film was. So, but I still stuck it out, which is a testament to either my determination or my stupidity. I haven't yet decided yet. My guest here today, you may know him or may not. His name is Daniel Melville Jones, and Dan, you have to pretend that you like me. So come over here a little bit. Oh, sorry, audience, we bumped you.
That's how much I like him.
Daniel, let's start before we even jump into the discussion of the movies. I'm going to move back so I don't look like I'm so terribly taller than you are, because I'm not. What's your deal?
My deal, like who I am, and
what do you do?
Well, I can't say because I work for a secretive company that won't let me talk about this kind of thing. But you're used to that. Yeah. So I know you. So that's the first thing. There we go.
Good. What do you like? Yeah. What do you do?
What I like? Well, I was homeschooled. A lot of people know that about me.
Shocking.
Probably isn't a good thing that they know this about me.
Yeah.
So I spent 12 years of pouring over educational difficulties, but coming out happy with my education, which is a small miracle. So I love to read. I love to write. I love to debate about ideas and talk about them. I'm a Christian. Most people know that about me. I love integrating that into what I do. I'm an artist. I love photography and anything related to that. I'm a musician. I like to play music.
So what I'm hearing is that you have no friends.
No, I got lots of friends. I got Kyle and my boss. No, just Kyle.
just me. I'm the only one who invites him over.
Yeah,
so.
It's every 3 months that I ask to be invited over.
How much do you not care about the Oscars, Daniel?
Well, I don't care about the Oscars.
No, I know. I don't care about them at all.
Well, in a sense I do. But in the end, it is just another award, and they are so blinded to the wonders of other cinema that's out there. And
well, like what?
It's a money game.
Yeah, okay, but what this year came out that you're like, why did they not pay attention to this film?
It's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question, isn't it, Daniel?
It is.
You should answer it.
It's like a film that came out this year that they just didn't pay attention to at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. This year they did pretty well, actually. It's almost like they're apologizing for all the other years.
Hoisted by your own petard.
Yeah.
Well, okay. If you take a look at maybe not the whole history of it, but what's a film in the last few years that you think this should have been honored a little bit more, but just was kind of forgotten or brushed under the rug?
Moonrise Kingdom.
Okay, so again, huge Wes Anderson fan. If you don't know this about Daniel.
This is true.
Yeah. Why Moonrise Kingdom? Why do you think that was
snubbed on there? Well, I'm going to sleekly avoid that question and talk about something else, and that is, how funny would it be if Wes Anderson wins every award that he's nominated for? Because let's face it, most Wes Anderson fans are kind of like hipsters to a degree. So it'll be like, oh, Wes Anderson won the Oscars. Meh. We don't care, and yet we're secretly rejoicing inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, you and I went to the same hipster store to get our glasses, so it's something that we share. Why Wes Anderson specifically? I've never asked you this, I don't think, but I know that you're huge. You're huge back. You love him a lot. Why? What is it about him?
It's funny that this comes up because I just showed my family my favorite movie, which is Moonrise Kingdom, and it was funny because it's my family. I've been hyping on this movie for couple years now since it's come out.
Nothing is ever going to reach the heights that you tried to.
Yeah, and well, it was just like, I'm like, guys, it's my favorite film, and I tried to explain why I loved it so much, and they agreed it was professionally very good.
This was a very competent film. It had a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, they're like, it's a good photography. Like,
it was
he's a good
photographed
filmmaker.
on film.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
was...
But they did, like, I had all this thing like why it's important to me as a Christian. They're like, it's not. It's terrible as a Christian. And we had this like theological debate about its merits for about an hour, and I was crushed for about 2 days because they clearly were wrong. But so the idea of why do I love Wes Anderson?
They know nothing about film.
And so I love Wes Anderson because partly it's the visuals that he is beautifully, every little detail there is just right. And he clearly puts thought into every single frame. And that means that when you watch these movies repeatedly, as I sometimes do, then you notice new things each time. And the visuals are part and parcel of the bigger picture.
Sure.
And every little element, whether it's a character, whether it is the soundtrack, whether it's the story, and especially as he's doing more and more movies now, the story becomes more and more a part of the film itself. They all come together.
Now, being that this is on the internet, you can go and look up who was nominated for Best Picture this year. There's 8 films that they chose this year. One of them being from your friend and confidant, Wes Anderson. Grand Budapest Hotel is nominated, as is Boyhood, Birdman, Whiplash, Selma, American Sniper, The Imitation Game, and The Theory of Everything. I think that's all 8 that I got there.
Okay. That was 8.
I was going to say just go look it up, but apparently I remembered all of them right off the top of my head. That was 8 of them, but thank you. I can count, Daniel, I think.
I can't, so.
I don't know numbers. That could be 1, that could be 5. Who knows? There's no way to tell. Now, I'm not going to go into it where I think some of those absolutely do not deserve to be nominated for a Best Picture award.
Like the Initiation Game, is that what it's called?
Imitation Game.
Imitation Game.
The Initiation Game. It's about high school football. It's a pretty...
It's about high school dates. Who's going to initiate the first date?
That's right.
Yeah.
No one, because they're all standing by the walls and they won't look at each other.
I never went to high school, so I can't comment.
You weren't allowed in high school, I think is what the issue was. We're going to
skip... My mom threatened.
Did she really?
Yeah. She's like... Many times, well, it wasn't so much in high school, it was more like junior high, where she's like, Daniel, if you don't behave, I'm calling the nearest school. And I was terrified by the idea. I was like, I will behave. I didn't.
Okay, before we even go into that then, tell me what your perception of what school was then. Were you just thinking like a big like Victorian school marm was going to hit you with a ruler?
No. It was all about the peers. I was terrified of the peers.
It was the other people. That's right.
Yeah.
I can't make conversation at noon. I don't know what I'm
going
to say.
Like with people all the time, and like it's dirty in schools. You can smell it. You had to do sports and achieve at sports, which I clearly cannot. You had all kinds of secular doctrine being hurled at you day in and day out.
Secular doctrine.
They're
telling you to worship Satan in the public schools. Yeah. It is a terrible place. Fun fact about myself: grade 1 in gym class. So you might notice that I have
gym class.
When you watch my videos, you'll notice that like my head scrunches in when you look at my glasses because there's such a high prescription that
the whole head
kind of scrunches in. You can notice this because I have terrible eyesight. I'm almost blind in my right eye. I was failed in grade 1 gym because I couldn't catch a ball.
See, that is what terrified me because I would have been like...
My mom was livid. She's like, you can't see the ball. How are you supposed to catch it? Anyways.
I would have failed in gym.
That is
because I just found out that I had DCD. I told you the story.
Right. Which to be honest with you, kind of sounds made up.
But it was
DCD,
funny.
What is DCD?
It stands for Developmental Coordination Disorder. My little brother says it stands for Daniel Can't Drive.
Heyo.
He's hilarious. Sometimes.
You think so, yeah.
He thinks so, yeah. Basically, it's a developmental coordination that's most people with dyslexia have. So cross 2 things off the Daniel is wrong list.
I was using a hashtag symbol there for things like hashtag DCD. Yeah.
DCD, yeah. Well, and yeah, it basically means that you have a very hard time with fine motor control. And I think this is actually something that's puzzled me for a long time.
Yeah.
Is that I love art.
Right.
And I'm like, why did I not become an artist? I can't draw to save my life. Okay. And I think it's DCD. I think I have the excuse to blame it on developmental coordination.
I can't draw. I can't draw because my hand just does things. I don't know. I can't.
And it's also driving. I can't drive. I'm 22. I can't drive.
Yeah.
And not for lack of trying. I have tried many times.
You've run me over twice.
Well, it's more my mother, who is my driving companion most of the time.
Yeah.
She said it's more
like gripping the side of the door.
Well, no, sometimes. Well, it's more like most of the time I can drive perfectly fine, but there's just weird things. It's like and he goes off and does this tangent of something, and so that's part of DCD, and also playing sports. So I lift weights. That's my only sport.
Can you tell me then, if you can conceptually explain it in your mind, what is happening when that happens? Like when you go and do this thing over here, like what are you physically thinking at that point?
I'm thinking probably about something else to begin with. So that's where the ADD comes in.
So it's like C.S. Lewis, wham, like into another car.
It's more just a total lack of awareness.
Okay.
It's like try to move my body in an orderly manner.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Getting back to the Oscars.
Oh, the Oscars. Okay.
I have these cards here, but I'm not asking you any of these questions until at the very end. So this literally means nothing.
Okay.
I'm shuffling papers.
What is the connection?
I'm trying to be a talk show host, and they just shuffle cards all the time. So I'm envisioning that that's what I'm supposed to do.
They have blinkers.
That's right. It's like 5 minutes. We'll wrap this up.
That's all we have left?
No, we have. We'll say 20 minutes.
Okay.
Birdman.
Yeah.
You and I have somewhat of a disagreement about this movie a little bit because I really like it. It's probably my second favorite movie that I've seen this last year.
I don't understand that.
Okay, why don't you understand it? What did you hate about the movie?
Well, and here's the thing. I think it's the kind of movie I would love.
Right.
Because it's visually tied together like no other. I think the cinematographer Emmanuel Lubezki is one of those. He's one of the few production credits that I will watch a movie if he's on the production credits, right? Like I'll seek out that movie and go watch it.
Yeah, there's a few cinematographers. Him, Roger Deakins, who does the Coen Brothers movies. Person who does the Coen Brothers movies. I'm blanking on his name. Anyways, so yes, Lubezki.
Go back, yeah. He ties the whole thing together. So it's like a little complex music box of a film, and I love Wes Anderson. Probably why it's connected there. It is a very clever film. I think that it could be considered to be too clever and too pretentious if it didn't wink at itself so often. Yeah. And the classic example is the great drum track, right? Which is the soundtrack to the whole thing. And there's this bit where Michael Keaton's character is walking down New York City, right? And he tips the drummer. It's almost like, I do my own movie. You did a good soundtrack, boy. Here's a quarter. Like, and that is the drummer in the corner there on the street. It's those kind of things.
I'm going to stop you there. I want to challenge you on something right away. And so I am a big fan of the critic Mark Harris. I don't know if you. No. I have two of his books over here on my bookshelf that you should read at some point because you know nothing, Daniel. But his retort to when people say that something is pretentious is this: what is the movie trying to be, and what is actually is it? So what is the movie? What is the movie?
Pretension.
Because that's what pretentiousness is. You're pretending to be something that you're not.
See, it's interesting. See, pretentious is one of these words that I just bat around because it's a word.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about what it actually means.
Sure.
It's just more like that idea of being like, hoity-toity.
I know that's what people kind of use it for, but pretentiousness is I am pretending to be something that I am not.
Okay, so that movie Birdman's not pretentious though.
Okay.
Okay, so here's
what you're trying to say here though is it's trying to it knows it's an artistic film and
it's playing that up and it's got this whole gimmick of a film, and it's very much talking about the inner turmoils of an artist who's actually successful very much so, but really isn't because he's not considered to be an artist, and he's throwing his entire life into making this play, and he has all these family dramas, and it's treated like it's the biggest deal in the world, that kind of level. And I can see that being a common complaint against it, but I think that it was on the verge of tipping over into that, but it kept itself aloft with this kind of sly, like, yeah, we know what we're doing, and we're just going to have fun with it anyways.
I'm going to stay away from the actual form of the movie and kind of the artistic choices behind camera work and camera movement and stuff like that. I really want to focus in on why I think glommed onto it as much as I did, which is this idea of somebody trying to prove to themselves that they're worthy to create art. And I really...
Or even just trying to prove to themselves.
I think just proving to themselves that they can achieve something about themselves. So you have a character who was very, very successful 20 years ago and really has had not much success, artistically at least, in the intervening years. And now he's trying to prove, no, I am an actual person who thinks about things and wants to prove himself to be maybe better than what the public thinks that I am, or the public that remembers me thinks that I am. Now, I have a very, very small, anecdote that is similar to that, which is definitely in junior high and even the beginning of high school.
Can you stop bringing up high school? I don't know what it is.
So while they were teaching me about Satan, in my high school, I was considered to be a very smart kid, and I was kind of on the honor roll and all that kind of stuff. And then there's kind of this
friends.
Maybe because at the
I was too, because I was the
you were the only student in your grade.
Valedictorian, right there.
I was amazing. Wouldn't it be sad if you weren't on the honor roll in your own school?
Valedictorian. No valedictorian. There is none.
I mean, and then during the latter bit of high school,
my five friends clap in the back because that's all that's in my graduation.
Your stuffed animals.
Did I tell you that at my graduation I had 105 people show up, and it was just for me?
Why was it just for you?
Because the last minute I was like, I want to do something special for graduation, but it's.
So you invite all the homeschoolers? Is that what you did?
No, I invited like the whole church.
Oh, okay, I got it.
And some family members.
Yeah. Isn't that the only people that go to your church? You're West Baptist, right?
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
What is West? Oh, yeah.
No.
That's rude.
That is rude.
Okay.
So in the last bit of high school, though, I was basically a solid B+ student. As much as I tried, and as hard as I studied, and as much as I read, and I felt that I always failed myself so much because I wanted to continue being this great person, and I was continuing trying to prove to myself. And I think that's a lot of why I'm doing this, which granted, no, like this show that we're doing, which granted is not the best.
Because there's still 0 viewers. I'm watching that track.
There is. There's 0. There's usually at least like 4 other people that show up. Apparently, the Taniguchi twins are not up right now, and they're not watching. So they're my friends. They say they're my friends. I don't know if they are.
I was your friend.
Nah. Okay.
Next question.
Next question. But for me, that's always been a driving force. So the stuff that I do here, the writing I do, the videos that I upload, the movies that I have ideas about.
The internet exists. The internet somebody out there cares, so I might as well do something.
The internet exists because of me. That's what I'm trying. Okay. No, I'm trying. I think I'm eternally trying to prove to myself that I am worthy.
Because
I think
some teacher thought you were brilliant in grade 10.
Pretty much, yeah. So there's this whole like psychology thing. I know that you can like look at me and be like, Kyle, you be crazy, and you're not wrong in saying that. But for me, I totally align with that movie because it's just like I want to be a great person, and I don't think I've ever achieved greatness yet, and that's what I continually strive for. And watching him go for that is fascinating to me, and seeing how all his relationships like devolve or some of them improve, and that's sort of thing. I mean, he's also crazy. Let's call spade a spade.
He meditates and levitates and throws things. But that's interesting because we were talking on the way over here about success.
Right.
And I think like when you talk about that whole story, it's something that really I feel because it probably is because being homeschooled, I was considered to be intellectually gifted. I have reports that say that by valid sources. And so when and this whole thing, I'm 22, so I've been out in the world, as it were, for 3.5 years now.
Yes.
Yeah. And, at first you're like, well, am I really a great person? And so there's certain things you do well and you succeed in this unusual level of success. I'm like, yeah, I am. And then you don't have that level of success. You're like, oh, who am I now? That's what you're talking about, right?
I think so. That sense of self that you're trying to prove, maybe to you or maybe trying to prove to other people, like this is who I actually am. This is who I want to be. This is who I'm projecting out into the world.
Right. Because this is my life, and that's all I got. And then I might as well do something.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's other stuff I can go about because I think it's fascinating that he's doing a play that's supposed to be so like I know high art and stuff like that, but the book he's choosing to adapt. Oh gosh, I'm going to completely blank on the guy's name. But anyways, the author is like a Pulp Fiction writer, so he's like doing this like CD.
Pulp Fiction?
No, he didn't. But that kind of style where it's very not highbrow literature that he's trying to adapt. So he's still kind of going.
And that's honestly the whole thing you're talking about. I love that about the film, and I look forward to seeing it because of that. Because other films, Wes Anderson, he talks a lot about this, especially his early films. Right? He does. Success, Rushmore, it's all about that. Royal Tenenbaums, people that were successful that aren't anymore.
Right.
Even Steve Zissou in a certain level. And that's something that as I'm struggling with this, that I'm growing up now and realizing that I'm not that great, that's something that is a concurrent theme. And then Whiplash, which is another great film this year, talks about it in the early stages. So here's somebody who's at the start of his career
Right.
that wants to be great, and that's all he cares about, and that is his defining goal in life. And if he's not going to be great, his life's not worth living, ultimately.
Right.
So here's these two polar ends. Oh, we have one viewer, and
Hi, one viewer.
there are two soundtracks that are very similar.
They are. Drums. By the way, I bought both soundtracks. I'm so livid that neither soundtrack was nominated for. I understand why Whiplash wasn't, because there's a lot of non-original music, but Birdman was disqualified for some weird reason why they couldn't.
He tips the drummer in the movie.
That's right.
Pay your own musicians on film. That's why.
But then, okay, so go on. So you agree with me on that point. Yes. What do you disagree with?
Well, I guess it's because, and it's been a while since I've seen the film, and I didn't do much writing on it, so I can't speak with as much eloquence as I'd like to exhibit. Okay.
You are being loquacious to a fault. Yes. We
still have one viewer. So
we haven't bored them yet.
Yeah. What was it on this? Yeah. So the film kind of sets up this level of success metric, right? Because he's trying to get there, he's trying to succeed, he's trying to show this play he's worth it as a human being, and this play is his touchstone success for that. And in the end, and can we spoil it for the audience?
Spoilers for Birdman coming up.
Oh, we lost our viewer.
Oh,
yeah, that's my fault. Okay. I don't think he really. They give him that success. The critics love the play.
Right.
Right. And I don't feel that he earned it.
Okay.
That level of success that he got.
Why?
Because in the end, he just shot his nose off.
Okay, so you think that he really should have killed himself at the end? Is that kind of what you're?
No, I think it's because like the whole idea of him inflicting self-injury.
Yeah.
It's like I actually feel sorry for myself, and it's just selfishness to the core. He doesn't actually get success by giving himself away.
But at the same time,
he's just like, I'm so selfish. I might as well kill myself. Oh, missed. I shot my nose off.
Yeah, see, I don't read it that way. I'm
gonna fly out the window at the end.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that too, because that's the one point I'll agree with you on. Is that I think the final 3 minutes. Okay. I really wish they just cut out the final 3 minutes of the film. I think it would make a stronger film, personally. But anyways, I think that him shooting himself at the end showcases the he is narcissistic to a fault, right?
Yeah, he's selfish.
He's a very, very selfish person. I don't think that you're supposed to think that he's being a selfless person. No. He's doing this for very selfish reasons.
Yeah.
But you and I we're talking about the same thing. I am selfish for thinking that I should be better than what I am.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
There is that kind of selfishness that's coming up with me for that. So I don't think it would be either artistically or emotionally honest if he was not selfish, I guess is what I would.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. But here's the thing, and you say you don't like the ending.
Yeah.
That ending with him flying out the window, it's almost like he loses himself. Okay.
I guess. Like
and so I don't know. The film doesn't show him giving himself away in any ways.
No, I agree with that.
And it still gives him success. I would have loved.
I think he really does want to create an actual human connection. I think he really wants to.
But there's reasons.
Yeah, but I think there is somewhat of a realistic there. He wants to connect with his wife and he wants to connect with his daughter on a more real level. But he's
not going to do enough to do it.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. He's not sacrificing enough to
actually do that. And I guess other films that I really love often show that at least admission. Or sometimes the sacrifice. For Grand Budapest, very small, but he admits he did a selfish prey. He's like, I'm sorry.
That's right.
It's a very small part of the film, but there is that. But
yeah, the final 3 minutes of him like flying out the window and stuff. I just think up until that point, it is very, very clear that his when he is Birdman or he hears the voice of Birdman, that he is imagining that.
Okay. And then the end.
And that he is actually trashing rooms, or he's taking a taxi because that's how he's flying across New York. That's him actually going in a taxi. He's not actually flying around. He's not actually levitating.
Right.
He's imagining he's doing that. Okay. And at the end, it apparently seems like no, this is real now. And I felt that kind of took away. I don't think I didn't like that point. If he had jumped out of the window even and they ended it there, I'd be kind of okay. Sure. I kind of wish they had just ended with him bang and seeing the critic walk up the aisle and then cut to black. That's really where I wanted the film to end.
Well, it's kind of like Birdlash.
No, Birdlash. It's a fantastic movie.
It just did that totally.
It basically tells the story of Ben-Hur and they're whipping them with birds. It is a very weird film.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the Academy these days.
Those guys, because they're guys.
Because they're guys. So, yeah, no, and it's one of those things where Whiplash. Correction, has a very similar theme to it.
Sure.
Of trying to reach greatness, and I guess in Whiplash, I would have loved to have seen him not reach greatness and just like be confronted with that. I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do with this? What can you do? Because to be honest, most people, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be the greats. And how do we deal with that?
Why can't I be though? I just want people to love me, Daniel. Is that so wrong to ask for?
I was talking about this on the way over.
Yeah.
The vindication and the validation.
So you're saying it is wrong?
No. I think that. Well, so no. Being serious though, like I think the idea of we need greatness or we need approval. Yeah, it's a very human thing, and there's good reasons for it.
Right.
So one of the things that a good reason for me to want validation is that I'm 22 and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So I need certain validation to align with that,
For sure.
or distract from that. Right. That's important. But ultimately, I was doing some reading on this and doing some hard work, searching through my own inner turmoil on this matter.
Right.
And it was talking about the idea of vindication and validation. So validation, being the pat on the back from others, you've done a good job, and how much I crave that when I publish something and do something and create something, which I do a lot. If I work on a really important blog article and just pour myself into it, and then I post it, for the next 5 minutes, my phone, like I'm looking at it all the time. Like, did somebody like it? Did I get validated for that? And then vindication being that you are good, you're vindicated. You're correct in this, and just the idea for me as a Christian that the idea of the eternal vindication. So in the end, I need to be good enough to get into heaven. Ultimately, I need to be good enough to please God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm never going to be that because I'm not, and He is. And so where does that come in? Well, in Christ.
So does that then? Are you trying to say that you only do good things because you want to get into heaven? Is that really what you're trying to say?
No, I guess it's because not so much because I don't believe that good deeds get you to heaven.
Okay.
But I do. I want perfection because God is perfect, and I yearn towards that. But if I'm never going to meet that, and ultimately somebody else is giving it to me, Jesus, then that is my validation and my vindication, and that's what I should be looking at.
We're coming at this from two different ways, I think, because that's where you're.
Yeah, you're looking at Birdman. I'm looking at Grand Budapest.
I think that's the two different worldviews here, because I think that I kind of acknowledge that I probably never will be great, and that kind of just depresses me, and I realize I'm basically going to die, and either no one's going to care, or no one's going to remember who I am, because I'm that selfish kind of person. It's like I feel like I need to be remembered. I need to do great things so that people say he was a good person.
Isn't that what everybody does though? Like, for example, people raising family.
Yeah.
Like, often they pour them to their kids.
Sure.
It's like, well, they're going to outlive me. So rather than they're actually being selfish about it in a sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you filthy breeders.
Don't have kids.
Moral of the story: don't have kids. Okay. That's what it says here.
Okay.
Daniel.
Yeah.
We're just at the point of the show where I have to ask you these 4 most important questions of the day.
Are they? So these like published at the beginning of the day? Like by the most important question.
Our home office is in Wahoo, Nebraska, so they faxed this over. Actually, it took the whole entire day.
How many of them have you answered so far today?
None of them. You're gonna answer them.
That's what I'm hearing. Wow, vindication right there.
If you
had Grand Budapest, Wes Anderson.
That makes no sense. If you had to lose your hair or your style, which would it be? So
here's this interesting thing, that the people in your online circles that have gradually entered my online circles, because we're friends, and do things online together, they keep commenting on my hair and my style.
They do.
Here's the thing, like up until that point, I don't consider myself a stylish person. Like, I have no idea what kind of shoes to buy. Styles. I
think those are wingtips you have already.
And hair, like I don't get haircuts. I just put gel in my hair now and then. So I don't understand where this whole style thing is coming from. Where like you're a stylish guy. Is it? Can you explain that for me?
I think it's because people are so conditioned to think that men don't take care with what they put on.
But I don't. Like I don't.
You wear sweater vests. That's not the current style right now. You have your own very unique Daniel style.
Okay, that I grant. Okay.
And I think
part of that is my hair.
Yeah,
I like having more crazy hair.
I think that you project a certain joie de vivre. I don't know. I'm using French now. I have no idea. But you project a certain confidence, I guess.
Okay.
With the way that you dress and all that kind of stuff. And then you don't comb your hair, so people just like your hair for that reason, I think.
Interesting. I don't conform. But the question was if I had to lose one.
Yeah, if you had to lose your hair or your style.
I probably will lose my hair. Not because I have a lot of hair loss in my family. My dad has perfect hair and he's 50 something, almost 60. But because I had like scabs as a kid and I always pick up them. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go bald. It'll be like an ugly bald.
I'm hoping that'll be fantastic.
So I'd rather not lose my hair because style you can always reclaim.
If Wes Anderson fought Sufjan Stevens in a fight, who would win?
Wow, that's a really good question.
I bring that up because Mr. Stevens is Daniel's favorite singer.
He's
One of
them. He's an artist. That's another topic for another day. We should do that, like a guide to Sufjan Stevens.
Yeah,
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Tune in next week. Well, Sufjan Stevens has banjos, and he can swing them.
Yes.
Wes Anderson is tall.
That's right. And he could swing Bill Murray.
Hmm.
So pretty even.
Pretty even. Yeah, it's a good tie. But we need to answer this question.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the banjos because have you seen those things with like the ends? Like, there's a lot of.
That is actually wrong. It would be a tie. Does it ever get tiring being wrong? I'll take that as a no. And then finally, the last question, always the last question, why?
For life?
Just why?
Just why? Because ultimately, why?
Yeah.
Like, why do I do things?
You take that any way you want to. Just why?
Because there's ultimate vindication beyond me.
All right.
That's why.
I think that's the end of it. I'm going to try this. This never works because these cards are not thick enough. I'm going to try and whip this card. Nope. Sure failed at that one, Kyle. Daniel,
DCD.
Thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast.
That's fun.
We should do a podcast sometime.
We should. Let's come up with a name for one.
Yeah, we should try to come up with a name for one. Inside jokes. They're the best things to tell on the internet.
Especially at the end.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone who did. This will obviously be up for forever and ever in posterity. I'll try and answer some questions if anyone is posting comments. And otherwise, my name is Kyle. I post new videos every Thursday. So if you want to, you can subscribe if you're not so already. And Daniel, if people wanted to follow you on the internet, how would they do that?
Probably my website.
Okay, what's your website?
Who says that anyways? DanielMelvilleJones.com.
How do you spell Melville?
Melvill.
There you go. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.